Hey guys, so Willard here, back again with another action figure review. Today we'll be taking a look at the final figure from the Marvel Legends Spider-Man Retro series that I have from this most recent wave, Alone Tier, because, you know, it's always a fun time when we look at some Marvel Legends Spider-Man Retro series stuff, but all good things must come to an end. Don't they? Don't they? But today we'll be taking a look at the man, the myth, the legend himself, Tombstone, who is a big mahunga halo of a figure. Like, this is the most McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse figure Hasbro's ever done because of, well, a few things. We'll get into that in a minute. This, of course, brought to us by the fine folks over at Hasbro, as I just mentioned there. But, yeah. Seems to me like Marvel Legends are getting kind of big. Because this guy is freaking huge. I remember getting Build-A-Figures this size. Anyone else remember that? Was it Arnim Zola? He was around this size, right? But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, why don't we cut right to the chase and get into the meat and taters of this review. Take a look-see at all Tombstone has to offer in terms of accessories, starting off with a pair of fist hands. She has two of there. As well as this alternate head with this very evil looking grin on it. That's cool as hell, but one gripe I have with this figure, you can't use this head on the old Tombstone because he's got this weird neck thing going on, like the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Batman figures that use that one body, the Hush body, Three Jokers body, whatever it is. I'm not a fan of this joint. You don't get shit out of it. And quite frankly, it can look really stupid. So, not a fan of that. I wish he had a double ball peg up here. You know, if you want to make the neck a separate piece, fine. But, I don't know, man. I would have rather just had the head be on a joint on its own. Something in the base of the skull, you know? Because aren't they going to reuse this neck? Anyways, seems kind of weird. And then we also have a crowbar, because God forbid he comes with a gun, right? As far as I know, there are no gun bans over there at Hasbro and or Disney, because they own Marvel after all. So why can't we get a gun with this guy? He's got a trigger hand even, so that kind of sucks. Not for nothing, but he's got an open hand and a trigger hand. Why can't we get an open hand for the other side and a trigger hand for the other side? I don't know. It's confusing, it's inconsistent, and quite frankly, I'm a little bit annoyed by that. You know, it would have been nice to just get pairs of hands instead of a pair and a half of hands, but whatever, I guess. Taking a closer look at Tombstone here. So, we got the head on the weird neck joint there, like a DC Multiverse. We got a crowbar instead of a gun, like TC Multiverse, and we got size for the regular price. This dude is big. Like, you'll see during the size comparisons, if you haven't checked out my other reviews from this wave, how big this dude is. He's a big dude. Like, he's built like a brick shithouse. And I'm okay with that, because Tombstone should be a big guy, but you expect him to be this big. He's a big figure. But as far as articulation goes, his head will rotate. It looks up and down minimally. It tilts minimally. Shoulders go out to the side that far. Back down. They rotate forward and back. He's got a bicep swivel that works fine. He's got a double elbow there. That works fine. He's got a swivel in the wrist with a right hinge for holding weapons, no less. So I really wish we got two of these instead of one of these weird turn your head and cough hands. Oh yeah! Almost didn't catch that. Glad I did. As far as the torso goes, you get to twist it. Kind of. You don't get to twist it very much, but it does twist. It feels like it is a ball peg in there, but there is so little range in there. Good luck with that. It feels like he has, like, maybe the ab crunch thing going for him, but I don't know. It's just so minimal. I don't know what he has in there. So, yeah, that kind of sucks. So, almost no forward and back range out of the torso. just like a DC Multiverse figure. He does have a little bit of outward movement at the hip there. A little bit of forward as well. Tiniest bit of back. He's got a thigh cut. He's got double knees. As well as ball hinge ankles, but these are tighter than heck. This side's a little easier to move, but yeah, these are very, very stiff. Be careful with these. They do have a tendency to be a little clicky in the detent, so watch that. He does have forward and back a little bit in the ankle, as well as a rocker. But, you know, despite my gripes with this figure, I like him a lot. We've needed a new Tombstone on a bigger body buck. That wasn't a piece of shit Hyperion body buck. Although, to its credit, the last Tombstone we got with the kind of biker daddy getup, they look like some reject from a Judas Priest concert. He actually had a new torso that looked decent, despite the fact that the arms and legs were still Hyperion. The torso was not. It was a new sculpt, which I don't know why they didn't use that sculpt more. Especially since they had a bear one with the, is it Odinson Thor? I don't remember. Unworthy Thor? One of the Thor variants from the modern comics there had the same kind of torso without the collar on it. So, you know. While I do like this Tombstone figure, I still think one from the 90s animated series would be very much appreciated. Maybe we'll see it in the VHS series. I doubt we'll see it this year because we got this guy instead. But, yeah, man, I dig it. It's cool. It's not perfect, though. He's kind of a brick, but he is Tombstone, after all. If anyone's going to be a brick, I guess it should be him, right? So, with that being said, it is time now that we move right along and take a look at some size comparisons. First up, here is good old Tombstone alongside the only other figures I picked up from this Spider-Man Retro Series wave that I've already taken a look at on the channel, so check those reviews out if you haven't already. I'd really appreciate it if you did. First up, we got the Scarlet Spider to the left. Took a look at him yesterday. And we got my favorite still. I don't think he's going to be very easily topped unless a leather-cladded flaming skeleton spawn of hell, with a motorcycle that is released later this year. But we got Jack-O-Lantern, Mr. Halloweenus himself, and yeah, I'm just going to go out and say that the fine folks over at Hasbro are trying to compete with the Todd Father for putting big, chunky Mahunga figures in the box for, you know, a $20 to $25 price. That's just what I'm starting to feel the vibe with this most recent Spider-Man wave. So, yeah, getting these two out of here. Our two regulars. Mythic Legion's Brother Mandibilith, whose sword is all kinds of wackadoo. I actually just now adjusting it. There we go. There he is. As well as the infamous 11 Spawn, who is about neck and neck, a little taller than old Tombstone here, but not enough for me to quote myself. Towers over everyone, you know. Side note, for those of you who are, like me, massive Keith David fans, old Keith David voiced Tombstone in the Spectacular Spider-Man series, which this figure embodies that look quite a bit, aside from, you know, the head sculpt, because Tombstone didn't have the flat top in that series. But if you're building a Keith David display with all the different Keith David characters, and you got 11 Spawn, the NECA Goliath, this Tombstone, maybe a Black Panther, Despero, Arbiter from Halo, Mongol from Young Justice, DC Comics, and whatnot. I'm trying to think, is there somebody else? Barricade from the 2007 Transformers video game, not the movie, but the video game based off the movie. You could have a nice little Keith David display, you know, just saying. So, with that being said, it's time now to wrap things up. Some final thoughts. Overall, and aside from the lack of useful articulation at some points, and lack of reverse compatibility with the previously released version of good old Tombstone here. I mean, seriously, that thing's head was a little big, don't you think? I have to say that I really like this figure, despite its shortcomings. Yes, it would have been nice if he had 2 trigger finger hands and 2 open hands. Yes, it would have been nice if he came with a gun instead of a freaking crowbar. I mean, what is this, McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse? Really? They don't have gun bans over there at Disney and or Hasbro, so I don't know why we got a trigger finger, but no gun. Either way, if you can get past that, both head sculpts for this figure are amazing, despite the fact that you can't use them on the previous version of Tombstone, which, again, would have definitely been an upgrade, not gonna lie. And aside from the lack of articulation in the torso, and also in the head itself, because again, what is this, McFarlane DC Multiverse? He reminds me a lot of the Batman figures that utilize the taller Hush body buck with what he's got going on there. Other than that, because I'm not an articulation guy primarily, I'm more of an aesthetic guy first, but, you know, I have standards too, you know. I like this figure. I think it's a fine figure. I think it looks really, really good, but just falls short a little bit for me personally. So, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Until next time, I'll catch you guys later.